You are in the studio, and I'm really happy to have you here.
Thank you. Stoked to be here.
Let's start with you introducing yourself and giving us a little bit of your background.
My name's Paige. I came to Costa Rica about 15 years ago. I've owned a Pilates studio for over 20 years.
What's it called?
Pilates Nosara. And I came here about 15 years ago to surf and fell in love with this place. It's pretty magical.
Yeah, it's not a bad place to be.
Not at all.
I want to hear about Pilates Nosara. Where are you at right now? Where are you based out of? What's going on with your business? Because on social media, it seems like you have all kinds of things, from trips and activities to a very satisfied, growing client base in Nosara itself. So fill us in.
The studio is now based, it's been about 3 years at the Bodhi Tree Yoga Resort. I like to travel, so I also do retreats in other parts of the world. And then I do teacher trainings at Pilates Nosara, and we have people come from all over the world. And then we just have our local clientele that live here.
Where do you want this place to be in 2, 3, 5 years?
I'm not looking to grow my business as far as having a bigger studio or anything like that. I just love creating community. Like I just created this project, Pilates in Residence. Pilates in Residence is basically something I just dreamed up because of a passion project of mine, No Plastic Nosara and the Nosara Challenge. What I did was I just posted this thing. I've created Pilates in Residence. I'm looking for extraordinary teachers that want to come, have a week vacation for free, like stay at my house. They're part of my family. They get shown around the town. All they have to do is teach a 3-hour workshop and 1 master class. The 3-hour workshop costs $30. So it's affordable to anyone. Anyone can come. You don't have to be a Pilates teacher. $30 from every student goes back to the recycle center.
Cool.
So that's like really dreaming up different interesting projects that I haven't seen happen before is kind of what I want to do.
That was a great answer. That's awesome.
I want to keep learning. I've been teaching for 20 years, but there's so much to learn. It's never ending.
I want to know how No Plastic Nosara started, and I'm asking if you'll share that story.
When my first child was born, Sebastian, he was like 5 months old, and I would take him to the beach all the time, and I got really, really frustrated with all the plastic pipa straws, the coconut straws, right, on the beach, always kind of near the palapas and all the other plastic that was on the beach. Because of this child coming into my life, I really just started to put awareness on the environment. Having been in Nosara for 15 years, seeing how it's rapidly changed was frightening. And also because at that point, someone had mentioned that the recycle truck wasn't working, so nobody's recycled materials could get picked up. And so I got really frustrated, and so I created something called the Nosara Challenge. One of the kids in the community actually went, "Why don't you do something based on the ALS challenge?" And I went, bingo, that's it. So I started the Nosara Challenge, basically challenging people in the community to do something good for the environment at home or in their business. And then they had challenged 3 other people, and then they posted it on social media to show what they did, and then tagged whoever they were going to challenge. And it literally went boom. I couldn't believe it. It was amazing. We raised all the money we needed for the recycle truck for a couple years. It was incredible how this community came together and really did something. Bianca and Steve and Cookie from Harmony came up with the No Plastic Nosara logo, and the idea about putting this logo on glass water bottles. Oh, and Mike from Beach Dog. Of course, can't forget him. All these businesses invested in these glass bottles, and we put the logo on it. And then the idea was any business that had these bottles, the No Plastic Nosara bottles, would no longer sell plastic water bottles or any kind of plastic soda or anything.
Well, it seems to me like what you started 6 years ago created a lot of awareness. And I think it had an impact. And there's a lot of people now who might take action on that wouldn't have 6 years ago.
What I'm seeing now, especially in social media, is that it's fashionable because of climate change and all this stuff. It's becoming fashionable and cool to do these things.
If it becomes fashionable and cool, I think that's actually the solution to most everything that you get so fired up about.
The unfortunate thing that again, apparently the NCA is really working hard on is the zoning. Zoning laws in Costa Rica aren't in effect in Guiones, and so the lots are then subdivided into small little potato chips, and so there to me is the problem.
Because that's a really good point. Lot size has so much to do with this. If the lot size is too small, people don't really have that many options. We need a zoning plan, but do you know who's fighting for the zoning plan so hard? You said it. It's the NCA. Do you know how the NCA gets the money to exist and fight for these things? It's from the people who are building houses. So if we alienate those people and piss them off too bad, they're not going to support the initiatives that we need. Do you see how it's kind of a circle?
Oh, for sure. But then my question is everyone really supporting the NCA?
No.
Is everyone really supporting the recycle center
No.
and the trash problem that we have? No, because what's happening is that money talks. So they come in and they think, oh, sweet, this is a beautiful place. I'm going to buy a piece of property. I'm going to build a house and I'm going to rent it out per week at a certain price. And I'm just going to make a ton of money. And then they don't come and they're not part of the community. And so they don't see what's happening. They don't see the monkeys getting electrocuted. They don't see that like the peyotes that used to run all over the town, they're gone. The animals are disappearing. That is having a huge effect on the nature and the environment in this area. And honestly, it's like with global warming, shouldn't we be planting more trees and like living in smaller houses?
Well, the answer, of course, is yes. And those are all very fair points. I get it. And I feel where you're coming from. And I agree with all of your sentiment, everywhere you're coming from. So let me jump in to, I'll call it my reality of here's what you're also facing. If you have a lot that's designated for someone's use and they want to build a house, they can do whatever they want. And human nature, if you come at people too hard in the wrong way, and you're not scared, like you were rapping earlier before we started this. Yeah, I mean, I've seen you literally approach people about all kinds of things. You're amazing. You're a force of nature. What I would love to do is like jump into Paige and kind of just do a little twist, not turn you off. I want to just like adjust it into, hey, this one will actually work. Back to human nature. If you come at people too hard with, a lot of people put up walls. So if you literally, but if you go to that person and say, you better, half the populace is going to be like, who are you to tell me what to do? What I'm trying to say from my end is this whole fashionable thing, although they should have done it 6 years ago when you started it for the right reasons, a win's a win.
I think a lot of people are building with more consciousness. But the problem is that the lots are too small. There's too many houses going in. So it just has changed the environment in the small town of Guiones. Right?
Agreed. No one's disagreeing with that. So what's the solution?
I don't know if there is a solution. Is the problem, because there are no zoning laws. So you can't really change anything, and you can ask and you can suggest, but people are going to do what they're going to do.
I can speak with conviction on this. I know when approached properly with rational thinking and evidence, people adjust. Back to the NCA. I don't know if you saw the podcast I did with them. I'm super familiar. The NCA is desperate to get the people who are here to become members, because that's how they get the funding to go fight for said zoning plan and the nature preserves and everything else that we're fighting for. So I guess my point is, I'd love to find a way to get the dialogue, get the well-intentioned side from you and everyone else into an actual action plan that gets the people to sign up and support what does these things. Does that make sense? So I don't want to yell at the people too hard.
No, of course not.
Who we need to get their money, because they're going to be the ones who are actually going to pay for it.
I mean, so then how do you create like a community database where everyone has to be on it, so they all know what's needed in the community? The problem is that not everyone's involved in the NCA. No, not everybody knows what's wrong with the trash. Not everybody knows that if they don't pay their $120 annual fee, that's all it is, for the recycle center, we will not have a recycle center starting in July. Right? In this conscious community of people that are really into nature and the surfing in the ocean, this is a huge problem.
Agreed. Right? Why do you think I started this podcast? We just had Christian in the recycling center come through. We just had the NCA come through.
He's amazing.
It comes back to awareness. None of the people coming in want the monkeys to go away. None of them want the environment to go away. See, I know you don't buy that, because you, quite frankly, you're just wrong on this. The people don't want the nature to go away. They're coming here because of it. They don't realize as they're coming in, you're yelling about that house or that wall. And what I'm saying is that sin was already committed.
I'm not much of a yeller. Not really.
Paige, you are the most righteous typing yeller I've ever met. If that's a term I can invent. Here's what we have now, Nosara, we didn't have 10 years ago. Tons of affluent people coming in every day. Guess what? They actually want to give back. Do you know the quickest way to get people to give back is to be nice to them and create a culture of awareness. And then you said it earlier, you make it fashionable. The Bomberos have zero government funding. Zero.
I know.
Everything comes from this community. Do you think everyone gives back? Emphatic hell no.
No.
A couple people do. But you know what? A couple people more this year did than last year.
Right. Yes, you have these affluent people coming in, and more often than not, these people are amazing, cool, brilliant people. Like, this community really draws a certain kind of people.
Yep.
And I think it's incredible. But also what you have is someone that's coming in to invest, that's building a house, that they just go, I'm going to rent it out per week and make this amount of money on it, which is fine. It's like a business. I mean, it's a smart investment, potentially. No. But the problem is that person that owns that house isn't here. So they don't necessarily know what's happening in the community. How do we reach them, right? How do we reach the people that are staying in their home during the week for them to know, okay, don't buy a bunch of plastic water bottles. This is the water that you should use, this recycled water bottle. Take it back to Organico or Super Nosara and reuse, right? Recycle your stuff. This is what our trash looks like. Like, maybe we need a picture in every rental house that is showing what the trash looks like. Because sometimes if you're coming on vacation, you're just kind of like, oh, I'm going to have fun. Doesn't matter, right? The environment is important because of we're such a small town, right?
They're all good points, but you're making too many. I have to address some of the ones you started with.
Yeah.
So the first answer, I can't remember exactly where you started, but as far as reaching the homeowners who are here, it's the property managers. As far as reaching the renters who are here, it's the property managers. They have the power. They are the conduits. They are the ones who are talking to the homeowners, dealing with finances, and also dealing with the renters. Now, when it comes to recycling, it involves the homeowner authorizing an expense to be paid for the systems to be used, and then it requires the property managers to give instructions for the people coming in. So the premise where a lot of people are like, these rental homes, I see that on Facebook and Facefart so much. It just makes me sick. And this is why I'm saying it right now. Most people are losing money. So here's what happens when it comes to security or when it comes to recycling or any other expense or anything at all. The homeowner's like, I'm losing money. I'm sucking wind here. I'm not using the house anymore or this or that. I'm not even involved. I just can't do it right now. I'd like to, hey, thanks for that idea, but I just can't do it right now. We get told that basically nonstop. I'm sure. So,
but
go ahead.
Wasn't the idea initially of them buying the property and building the house for them to potentially make money?
Maybe. If everyone's different. For some people, yes. For some people, no.
They didn't live here and feel the place and know what was good. That it's really like 4 or 5 months a year you can rent it. You can't rent it. It's not as easy to rent the other times of the year. So maybe it's not such a great business.
Well, let me help with that. We have 9 months of rentability for the most part. So you have November to April, of course. May drops a little bit. And then you have June through August. And then September and October drops significantly, right?
Yeah.
If you do a long-term rental, it's very easy to rent. And it's very easy to just pay your basic bills and make a little bit extra.
Yeah.
But if you do a long-term rental, you don't get the potential higher level of profitability as a vacation rental. And you also don't get the personal use. You know what? Maybe you are losing money on your home, but could you just invest in the basic recycling material to get us started with that? Could you just pay your trash pickup, your recycling, do a basic donation to the Bomberos, and this type of stuff? So I think that's what we have to focus on because that's all we have control over. The getting is as good now as it's ever been. Now we can't go back in time and take down that wall that you hate or the house that you think is too big. That's their prerogative. That's what they chose to do. But we still want that person's money. We need it. It's essential for us to survive.
Right. I mean, because it's circle. The house, the people, the recycle center, the trees, right? You need the money then to replenish or to pay for the person to run the recycle center.
That's right.
Because of the trash they're creating.
That's right.
From their house with the big walls.
Our trash situation here is so convoluted because of our weird, messed up illegal dump in the first place that's supposed to be a nature preserve.
So, but that is slowly changing.
Do you know why it's changing? It's because we're starting to get funding and more people are supporting the NCA. More people are supporting Nosara Recycle.
Right. I think though, like with the trash situation is that you don't know it's there. Like if you're at the beach, you stay at the beach. You don't go back. You're not going to go, let's take a little trek.
Great point.
To the trash.
You're absolutely right.
And that'll be our little event for the day is go see the trash situation in Guiones, right? No, they're not going to do that. So they don't know. It's like out of sight, out of mind. What the huge problem that we have.
And most people on vacation prefer it that way, right?
Of course.
They're on vacation. They don't want to think about this stuff.
Of course. I mean, I'd love to see every rental home have a picture of the trash dump, like with a caption that says like, this is where your trash goes. Please be aware of it. Throw all your organics, because apparently 50% of the trash that's there is organic that can just go into an organic thing that can go back into
a lot of it. Maybe
planning.
not quite all of it. And then also
apparently Christians had, I think it was like 50%.
No, they're right about the 50%, but that doesn't mean it's all food waste. That it's not all stuff you can just throw out the window. And then also what they educated me on was you're not able to just throw it out the back window per se. They want people to put it into the composting system and put dirt on top of it.
And then the whole animals and the ecosystem in that way. No, you have to create a compost. So each house should have a compost.
So we need the homeowner to buy the container.
Exactly.
And then we need the property manager to help coordinate it. And then they have to have the staff to get the dirt to throw it on top and do it.
I mean, there's so many factors involved in a growing town. It's hard. It's hard to, like you say, like get in front of it.
I guess what I'm trying to say, when you ask, well, how do we get the homeowner? How do we get the renter? How do we get them involved? I think it's kind of the same thing that you did last time, is we have to do the same type of awareness drives.
Create a new challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go, and everyone should support Gato, the people guy, he and I initially, when I started the Nosara challenge, we were like fighting, right? Yeah. Because he did not want to get rid of plastic straws, because a lot of his consumers were like, why would you not give me a straw? And so it was affecting him and his business.
Yeah,
so
he's a poor Tika fella who's not able to make any money. And here you are, this rich white lady coming in and trying to take away his ability to make a living. This is perception. So,
well, I mean, no, but he was the one that was helping pick up the straws and the peepas and stuff on the beach. So he got it, but then it was affecting his business. So we argued about it a little bit. But now, through people that have got involved in No Plastic Nosara, he puts up front the amount of money that it costs for the plastic straws per month. And then No Plastic Nosara donations, which we need to start generating more, pay for the difference of the paper straws. So at least we're not going to eat plastic on the beach. Not that paper is good either. Really, it's like, don't use any.
Well, it's a lesser of two evils. And
yes.
And here's how to do it. So
drink the pipa, let a little go down on your shirt. Big deal. Get over it.
Well, you think about it this way, Paige. And again, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just trying to jump into reality. And that's our relationship. You say what is right, what should happen. And then I say, hey, well, here's what out of that is actually possible.
Drink it without a straw.
I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm saying, though, is from a tourist family who's like, there's water I should drink in here? Wait, you're saying I should pour this and drink it and let it run over me? I think you had a shirt, a wonderful, amazing, sensual shirt that's like, enjoy the pipa, the refreshment.
No,
I see your
drink
vibe.
a pipa raw, don't use a straw. And it was a mermaid drinking a pipa and no plastic, Nosara, right?
Great idea. But to the people who are trying to reach, it's just too far. It's too far. A paper straw for that person. No, it's like
you always have to give people another option and then try to push them in that direction once they start opening their mind and getting educated, right?
Agreed.
So to the point is Gato now has paper straws. I'm super proud of that and proud of him for doing it. So anybody that's watching this, go get your straw from him. Go get your pipa from him if you're going to use the straw.
I think you sold me my first metal straw.
Yeah, we got that right? Through the Nosara challenge. Spatial brought in a bunch of the metal straws and then Gato was helping sell the metal straws. And so now you're going to see you're seeing metal straws like sold in a lot of different stores around town. And like, I remember when I started the Nosara challenge, I was still at, Pilates Nosara was still at Tika Massage. And then the owner of Bodhi Tree kind of got wind of the challenge and he's like, okay, that's it. Bodhi Tree is going to be no plastic, right? So incredible. Harmony was already no plastic. So they really paved the way for that. And Gilded Iguana isn't. So it's incredible. They really stood by it.
Hey, let's talk about the hotels a little more while you brought that up. Cause like on my rant earlier where I was saying, I think a big model that this awareness is starting to work is in the hotels. The hotels, all competing with one another, got together to support the trash initiative. No arguments. Everyone jumped on board. Amazing. Every hotel that's won up recently has done something phenomenal for the community in some way. Gilded's our newest addition to the flock. Probably didn't even have to. Paid a phenomenal amount towards the water to the asada,
Right.
recycled everything that they could. They really, really tried. Again, people don't like change. Change is hard to deal with. But this is something I say to you a lot when we're just talking as friends on the side is, hey, I know it's challenging and there's a lot of growth pains and we're experiencing them. Heavens knows we're experiencing them. But I would rather be here facing what we're facing than any other town on the Pacific coast of Costa Rica, hands down.
Oh, absolutely.
And for that matter, most towns in the entire world. What other place has nature preserves literally interrupting the community with no room for wide-scale development? Granted, we don't have a zoning plan and we need one. Heavens knows we've needed one a long time.
Yes.
We're trying to get it. But in the meantime, the good news, even though we do have these small lots that are out there and these houses that are going up, I'm not saying that's perfect. I'm saying it's not perfect. But all around it, we have tons and tons of trees.
Yes.
Who else has that? No one. So I just want to get everyone to unite in efforts, whether you're angry or not angry at all. I still want everyone to participate in driving people to the good.
I don't know if I would say anger is the word. I think it's heartbreaking, really. Like, I think anger is really like this strong, like intense thing. I think heartbreaking is a different word that I would feel is like when I see a tree go down, it's heartbreaking. Yeah, we need our road paved. Absolutely. There's too much dust. We can't have a dirt road anymore.
Well, we might.
But we might, right? Unfortunately.
So we'll talk more about that.
But the amount of
another time.
trees that were cut for that road, okay, it's supposedly growth and forward moving, right? And we need, and I agree, we need that paved road. I want that paved road so bad. But every time that tree is cut for that growth, it's heartbreaking. It's not like I'm like, God damn it, right?
Well, sometimes you are actually, in all fairness.
Sometimes I get like
and I'm not saying that's
yeah.
bad. I'm saying that's one of the things I love about you. But whether it's heartbreaking or whether it's concern
for the environment and for the animals in the area,
Right.
it is. It's heartbreaking, right?
I'm acknowledging that point.
Yeah.
You've said the word like 5-6 times. I get it. So one more time. So here's what I'm saying. Whether for you that's heartbreaking and for someone else it's just concern, for someone else it's indifference, but they still understand that they should do something. I don't care. Whatever that emotion is, we want to channel it into what we need, which is we need people to give back. And we need, quite frankly, financial donations to the organizations that are fighting for all this.
Right.
I think that's the point.
Even deal with our recycle center. How are we going to do this? But a dream of mine would be, how can we get people to invest money into creating more green zones, adding to the green zones, right? I was just at our neighborhood community, Pachamama, the other day. 20 years ago, they bought 220 hectares, something like that. And it was all cattle farm. And it is now regrown jungle. It is absolutely stunning.
You actually just defined the community here because that was all cattle farm not too long ago either.
But it makes me sad then is that all the trees were growing back and now they're getting cut back down again. And that's what we need. We need trees in order to keep water happening. I mean, it's a circle. We have a water problem here. So why are we having trees cut down?
Okay, so here's the answer. If it's on a lot that was designed for residential or commercial use and someone has full legal capacity to do so and they don't have enough room to keep the trees, that tree's coming down. That's a fact. I'm not saying that's good. I'm not arguing for that at all.
Do you know what that is then?
I'm sorry?
Heartbreaking.
Money is money, and money is what we need to go fix this. So you asked a question earlier. When I say fix this, I mean to get a zoning plan. That takes time. It takes money. It takes people to do it. Cookie right now. Shout out to Cookie. First Tika, president of the Nosara Civic Association. The only reason she can do everything that she does for the NCA is because the Johnson sponsor it. Do you get it?
Yes.
So the NCA doesn't barely have the money to keep the shoestrings together. They're trying to add a person here, a person there. What we're trying to do for this place is monumental, and that takes funding. You asked earlier, you mentioned it'd be great if we could invest in land banks and to do that. Agreed. That'd be phenomenal. Okay, there's a couple ways that can happen. One, the government comes in and allocates that or designate that type of stuff. You nor I have any control over that, and that's kind of about a snowball's chance in hell of happening, most likely.
That's not happening.
The nature preserves we have outside of the 200-meter line Oceanal Wildlife Refuge, that came from the NCA and the people fighting for it when this was all supposed to be a golf course way back when. Right? A lot of people might not know that story. So all the trees and stuff that you're angry that are getting cut back down, that was a cattle field 50, 60 years ago, right? Then we have secondary growth that's gone up. And now you're upset because those trees are getting cut back down. And what I'm trying to say is if that tree is in one of the NCA protected areas, it's not coming down. If it's on one of those lots, though, it is coming down, and that is heartbreaking. But whoever cut down the tree We need their money. So let's go get it. But I don't want to approach them by punching them in the head with anger. I want to punch them in the head with, hey, welcome to Nosara. It's a great place to be, but we need your help. Get involved.
A lot of this is like seeing what it was like 15 years ago and now seeing it now. I think it's hard to see that change. And there's people that are here before I was here, right? I mean, there was no gas station when I got here. There was no bank.
A bank, a gas station, nothing.
There was nowhere to stay that would accept credit cards except Cafe de Paris when I arrived.
No cell phones? Right? Or like 3 spots in town that had a little bit of cell phone?
We all met at the beach. So it was a certain kind of person that came here and fell in love with it and really like got into it. And there was so much nature around in Guiones. Like there was so much green. And so it's just seeing it then and seeing it now.
Well, that's the heartbreak that you're describing.
Yeah, it's so
let me ask you a question.
Challenging.
From someone who understands everything that you just said. Yes. And you and I may have came here a long time ago. The people who are here now wouldn't have come here then.
Nope. And then I wouldn't have been able to have a business.
Okay.
So that's what I always say. I'm like, everyone's like, oh, isn't it hard for you to see this? And I go, yes, it's really hard. But again, I wouldn't be able to raise my children in this environment. I wouldn't be able to make a living here. I mean, I wouldn't be able to have a Pilates studio in the jungle. Who would have thought of that? I mean, that's crazy.
That's true. So
crazy.
We're talking about the full circle. Growth is bad. And it also has some good. So that's all I'm trying to say is as we're heartbroken about the past, you can't go back in time. You got to make it as good as you can. And right now, even pipas, there's more people drinking pipas just natural right now in front of Gatos than there ever has been. You did a good thing. You're making progress. It might seem like you're not, but you are. We have more people who are clients asking about recycling than we've ever had. I know that. We created the largest vacation rental booking agency, hands down in Nosara, and I hear the feedback coming from people. They're asking more so now than ever before.
Right.
We have more people who are donating back to things. I guess what I'm saying is in Nosara, and this is specifically to the social media, same old thing that always, it's all gone away. 15 years ago was this, it was that.
No, I think that's change.
True. You know what it is? It's different. If we can keep the nature preserves interrupting the community, that guarantees no wide-scale big development. That's why we don't have towers. That's why we don't have a Ritz-Carlton coming in or whatever big hotel you could say. Well, we don't. You know, there's some places more advanced certainly than Nosara, but also Costa Rica. Like look at Bali and some of those places where what has happened. Out of that, though, a lot of knowledge is getting back out into the world to try to prevent that. I mean, there's a lot of preemptive measures and people giving a crap about them than we've ever had. So I guess what I'm saying is I think it's time, like your Nosara challenge works so well, right? Because the community gets together. What town gets together more so than Nosara than when something bad's going on? Because I can't think of one.
Nah, it's pretty.
If there's a fire
epic.
or a flood or something going down, the walls come down and everyone goes and does it.
I always say it's like, it doesn't matter, honestly, like how nice your car is. Guess what? It's going to break down and you're going to need help. People are going to pitch in and help you, right? It's like the community here has to work together because stuff happens. Shit goes down. There's so many factors involved in a growing town. It's hard. It's hard to, like you say, like get in front of it, right? You
did something though back 6 years ago with No Plastic Nosara and the Nosara Challenge. Remember that? You just described to us how it created so much awareness. Yes. I guess what I'm trying to say, when you ask, well, how do we get the homeowner? How do we get the renter? How do we get them involved? I think it's kind of the same thing that you did last time is we have to do the same type of awareness drives.
Create a new challenge.
I guess I want to thank you for your passion, your energy, your commitment. And I also want to thank you for the chance to talk and just have dialogue.
Yeah, we never get to talk like this.
Do you have any shout outs or messages or thoughts or sentiments or like what's on your heart?
Gosh, shout out to NTA. Shout out to Gerardo. Shout out to everybody, in the community that's really, like, we had a No Plastic Nosara Recycle meeting and the people that showed up, it was pretty awesome and the people, what they wanted to do. So shout out to everybody that's there. Shout out to Christian who's running the Recycle Center now and everything that he's trying to do. And I'm just praying that enough people are getting fed with the knowledge that if we don't do something, it's not, when I started the Nosara Challenge, it's not the recycle truck. because I was so upset that the recycle truck wasn't running anymore. I couldn't believe it, right? 5 or 6 years ago, when the town has really grown in 5 or 6 years exponentially, that now it's the recycle center. It's the whole recycle center. We're not talking about the truck. We're talking about the center for $120 a year, that it might not exist anymore. That's ridiculous. So shout out to the recycle center and shout out to everybody to pay their dues. Shout out to the local community and what makes this place magical. The nature. I mean, we were going fishing a lot in the river with the hand line and all of that stuff, and just watching what these guys do and being part of what's kind of been tradition here. That's amazing. Shout out to Pilates Nosara. Yo.
You went into
girls.
Well, hey, I want to thank you for coming in. I really, truly appreciate you. I really do. And if I'm ever fussing at you, it's out of love.
Bring it on, boy.
All right. Why don't we end this up with, leave us with a Pilates Page Nosara rap if you want to.
Oh my gosh, do I have a rap left in me?
I don't know. Are you done?
Yo, 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 go pay your fees or else I'm going to whip your ass in Pilates. Bam.
Pay your trash bill, everybody. We really need it. On that note, thanks, Paige.
You like that?
Yeah, I did. Good job.
Ciao.